87 million people call California home. Almost 30 million of those residents have a mobile phone.
A lot of people are going wireless. They're getting rid of the hard landlines.
We need more and more antennas to do all the services now that we're providing.
Mobile phones plus wireless infrastructure. You can't have one without the other.
Welcome to Cox OC Connection. I'm Lacy Kelly and this is Civic Connection, and today we're visiting with Bob Jystad, who is the president of the California Wireless Association. Welcome, Bob.
Hi, Lacy. Thank you for having me.
You bet, you bet. Thanks for coming out. Well, tell us a little bit about the California Wireless Association. What is it about and when was it formed?
Well, the California Wireless Association, we like to call CalWA, was formed actually in 2007 in Newport Beach. We had a major launch that had about 350 people attend, and the city of Newport Beach gave us a proclamation. We had city council members present because there was a recognition that this was an opening to have great conversations between the industry and local jurisdictions, and wireless services needed that conversation. We are a trade association that represents the wireless industry, and when we say wireless industry, we're talking about it really in the broad sense. Obviously, there's the big four, the AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and T-Mobile, but there's this vast array of consultants and businesses that support them. And if you remember the Verizon commercial, the "Can you hear me now?"
Yes.
The technician wandering around in strange places and being able to speak and how that was fun. Well, at one point, Verizon realized it made sense to actually show something about what created that network. And so the camera would pan, and then you would see hundreds of people standing behind this one technician with the phone.
Yes, I remember that.
Which was a very positive message. And in fact, just like that was his army, my members are the army of the wireless industry. Obviously not just for Verizon, but for all of the carriers and anybody else who's involved in the industry.
Okay.
Our mission, or our manifest, is to try to bring a unified voice to that array of people and companies, and you can imagine that that would be rather challenging. So what we've done is we've focused on what we think is the essential component that unites everybody in the industry, and that's infrastructure. Mm-hmm. We're here to encourage local jurisdictions and local governments to find ways to facilitate the deployment of infrastructure, because as the video that was shown indicates, you don't get to have the wonderful services that you have unless you have the infrastructure that supports that. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the reasons we put that video together, to demonstrate that wireless services are not magic, and obviously everybody understands that. But I remember when I saw my first phone, I was just shocked that somebody was standing in the middle of the DMV talking on this wireless phone that had no cord. And it's fairly remarkable how many people really don't understand how the network works and what it takes to make wireless services work. So one of our goals is to educate leaders and the public about how it does work.
Sure, sure. Okay. So then in Orange County, what are some of the key issues that you see with wireless infrastructure, with the wireless industry?
Well, I went to school here in Orange County, and I've lived and worked in Orange County for decades. This is a fantastic county. It's one of the best places in the world to live, but it's one of the most challenging places in the state of California to actually get cell site approvals. And there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of pride in communities, but we need to get to a point where there's a recognition that wireless services really are an essential service for public safety, for business, for personal relations, all that. And that unless we have the kind of network that supports that, and now with smartphones and tablets, the load on the system is tremendous. we need to keep building and expanding the network, and we need to find ways to work with local jurisdictions to make that happen.
Right. What are you doing now to work with local jurisdictions?
Well, one thing we're doing is working with associations who represent jurisdictions, like the Association of California Cities, which is great.
Yeah.
We also work with the Silicon Valley Joint Venture up north.
Oh, yeah.
But what we want to do are create opportunities for networking and education, because we believe there are solutions to facilitating deployment. And if we have an open conversation about the way to do that, so that it's really a win-win for everybody. You get your services, your phone works, and there isn't the controversy that there has been in the past about the deployment of these facilities.
Sure. Something I heard someone say is that it provides benefit to residents and it's free infrastructure. So industry pays for it, right? Am I right?
Well, sure.
yeah, so it's hard to say no to that. Where do you think the industry is going in terms of what's the future of where this technology is going to take us?
It's amazing where we're going, and actually if you stop and think even for just a bit, it's amazing that we are where we are now, where you have a device now that monitors. It's your phone, but it also monitors your vital signs. It's a navigation device. It's a restaurant guide and a hotel guide. It's a planning device. All of that you couldn't have imagined 15, 20 years ago when the idea of texting was first novel. But the next big move is machine-to-machine communications. And for example, one sort of exciting idea is driverless cars, and in California the idea that maybe you wouldn't have to control your vehicle, it would control itself, is a pretty remarkable idea, but they already have prototypes that are working. It's a little frightening, but they have prototypes that are working, but in order for that to work, you need a robust infrastructure to support it. So there's a lot of new things on the horizon.
I could get a lot of work done if I didn't have to drive my car going to work.
Right, California, Southern California.
That sounds very appealing. Well, I want to thank you for spending time with us today. Quickly, where can people get more information?
At our website, www.calwa.org.
Okay, well, thanks, Bob, for joining us today. We look forward to continuing to work with you. I want to thank you for joining us at Civic Connection today. We'll see you next time.